I love that. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Anyone else have anything you want to share? Tess, were you in Toronto yesterday? Tess is on here. Or did he just jump out? Oh, all right. We're going to kick right into it here then. Does anyone else have anything else? Throw your hand up or throw it in the chat quick before I'm going to get right into it. All right, we're going. So welcome to the Start Canada call. Jack got us started and she needed to take a step out for a second. So we are Start Canada. We are associates in a company called Isagenix. And we are a health and wellness company. We make no claims to treat, prevent, cure, diagnose any illness or disease. But as we know, our bodies are miracles, and when they have what they require, amazing things can happen. So you're going to hear some things on this call about some transformations, some results that people have experienced, and no two bodies are the same. So what happens for one person may not happen for the other. And the beautiful thing is what you put in is what you get out, and from an income perspective as well, because we are a company that provides financial opportunity for people to be able to expand their lives and create freedom and a lasting legacy, which is what we're all about. So my name is Tinya Gray, and I am super stoked to be here with you. I'm kind of the Start Mama. I'm like, part of the Restart group, but you guys still keep me here. You haven't kicked me out yet, so that's really nice. I appreciate that. And we're going to jump right into it. We have a great call planned tonight. I'm going to go through some great mindset stuff. I think it's great. I love it. And but before that, we have our starter in the spotlight, Patrick, and he is calling in from Hamilton. And Patrick, we would love to learn more about you and hear all about your journey with Isagenix. So thanks for joining us.
No problem, Tinya. How are you? Hey guys, how's it going? I don't know where to start here. Well, I've been with Isagenix for, about 6-7 months. I started in September. Let me start with telling you guys where I came from. The best way to explain this would be, I was probably the most closed-minded person you'll ever meet in your life. An extra large pizza was probably breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's 3 extra large pizzas in a day. That was my meals weekly. I was that guy that would go out and find the best challenge I can get and try to beat that food challenge. And let me tell you, I've done it. I was the first one ever to complete a 5-pound pizza challenge at a restaurant, and I was proud of that at the time. That'll never happen again. Not now. Never going back to that person ever again. So anyways, fast forward a little bit. Let's say August. It was kind of a big turning point in my life. We got to a point where I was probably in a state of depression, but never admitted it. I would take 2-3 naps a day, had no energy. So, a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, really, I need to make a change here. So I started off by joining a gym, started working out, but was I really eating healthy? No, not at all. Come September, I had a few posts on Facebook. Some people reached out to me, and I was still closed-minded. So, I went and sat down with them, and then they told me all about this system. So, you know what, I thought about it for a week or two, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. So I started off by getting a few products, the isolene shakes, and then did those for a little while, followed a regimen, and saw huge results. So then, my mind started opening up. So fast forward to about November, I said to my friend who got me started, I said, okay, what's the next step? How do I get going with this? So I got the details, and the rest is history. Let's fast forward now to about January, and I'm now 75 pounds down. 75 pounds in about 5 months. Insane. My life has taken a complete 180. My outlook on life now is completely healthy. All I want to do is help people get healthy. It's crazy. I don't even know. I have the most clear mind ever. And I don't ever plan on stopping this. I actually wake up in the morning and crave my shakes. Let me tell you guys one thing. I haven't ordered a pizza in 6 months.
Woo!
Yeah, and I don't plan on doing it again.
That is so awesome. How many can relate to craving your shakes now? Isn't that so amazing to be in that space? Well, that is fantastic. And those are amazing results. And the wonderful thing, congratulations on that. Own that, because that's pretty phenomenal. And, to know that, again, we make no claims. No two bodies are the same. Those were your results. And for some people, it can take longer. And, people are different. But when we have a healthy mind, and a healthy body, amazing things can happen in our life, right? And we want to pay it forward. So
That's right.
we're so happy to have you here. Thanks for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. You're going to inspire a lot of people. Let us know if there's ever anything we can do to help you help your friends, okay?
Thank you. Can I close off with one little quote that kind of helped me?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Well, the quote that I'm going to leave with you guys, it's called fear. Fear has two meanings. You can either forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours.
Oh, I love that. Can you do me a favor? Can you type that in the chat, or can you put it in the Start Canada group?
Sure can.
That's a great acronym. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Love it. Awesome. You guys, let's give it up for Patrick. Woo! First time speaking on the call. We're so glad you're here. We look forward to having you back.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to kick it into high gear here, and we're going to go into talking about some mindset stuff. I have, the last few weeks, a lot has transpired for me, and I had the opportunity to go to the most powerful women's event, which is the GoPro version for the women. There were a few dudes there, but there was a lot of women there, about 5,000 people, and I'd say maybe like 1% were guys, so they were pretty outnumbered. But it was a pretty cool event, and then I spent a couple of days in a house with 22 women, and Susan Sly leading the charge, so we did intensive activity. We did some peer training, we did some exercise, we did all kinds of stuff. And it was really, really powerful. So I just wanted to share with you some of my takeaways, because I had some, how many of you have ever had a breakdown to a breakthrough in your life? Some of us have had breakdowns to breakthroughs. Sometimes when we're making changes, it gets really messy in the middle, and it can be pretty beautiful on the other side, but it can be pretty scary going into it. And I've had a few of those myself in the last little while. And there's been many, like on this journey with Isagenix. So, and when I wrote the description of the call, and after being at this event, I came to realize that when we witness this journey, there are some people that, come in and get started and they just take off and they accomplish things really quickly. How many of you have witnessed and seen some of that? And you're wondering, how the heck are they doing that? And then there's some people that 10 years later and they're still kind of in the same place. And it's like, how come they're not really moving? Like, what's going on with that, right? Can you guys relate to any of that? Awesome. So I was doing some self-assessment on this, because I know myself, I've personally worked through some different blockages with some food challenges I've had in the past, as well as some issues with, family and my story. It's a story. A lot of times it's a story that I've made up, situations that have happened. So what I wanted to touch on today, and I hope you guys have a pen and paper, because I'm going to move quick and I'm going to move through a lot of things. And I'm going to ask you guys to do some writing. Okay. So, do you ever wonder what is the best way to set a goal? How many times have you ever experienced writing a goal and it stays the same? You never accomplish it. It just stays there. And maybe sometimes you don't get there. Have you ever experienced that? Yeah, you can throw that in the chat. I'm used to there being more faces here, so I'm going to just go with the nods and stuff, because I'm a talker. I'm used to conversations, so I'm finding this tricky. And how many of you have started to do or wanted to do affirmations, but maybe you're not really sure how to write them? You're not really sure if they're working. You don't really know what they mean. Yeah, some of us. Okay, so I'm going to get some clarity for you guys on that today. And as I mentioned, some people, everything they touch seems to turn to gold, but for other people, it seems to turn to crap. Right? We all know people on both sides of that. So I'm hoping to help sort of merge that and bridge that for you guys today, so that we have a lot more, successes and more desires becoming realities in our life. Would that be a good thing? Cool. All right. So here's what I'm going to get you guys to do. I'm going to get you to grab your pen, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some responsibility. So what I would like you to do is, on the left side of your paper, I'd like you to write a couple of things in your life that you may not be totally happy about. All right. And maybe it was in the past. Maybe you've done some work to move through it, but maybe it's a relationship that stresses you out. Maybe it's a job you're not loving. Maybe it's an argument you've had with someone. Perhaps it's a teammate who's making you crazy, or, you just haven't busted through what you've said you've wanted to with your body goals. What is something that hasn't gone the way that you thought you wanted it to? And mark that on the left side. There may be a few things there. And if some of you are in a really good space, you may have to do some thinking sort of back to that time, but think about something that you'd really love to, have different. What's not working? Okay, do we have at least a couple, you guys? Awesome. So now what I would like you to do is I want you to think for a second, who have you been, or who, you know, how were you thinking? What were you doing? Why did you attract that? Because the reality is everything in our life, we have attracted it, maybe subconsciously, maybe with our actions or inactions, maybe with, you know, lack of speaking up. So is there something that you've done or not done that could have attracted that situation? We don't always like to hear that, but it's true, right? If you need more clarification, let me know, but I'm pretty sure you get it. Can I give an example? Sure. So we say that we want to, you know, really rock our IsaBody challenge, but when it comes time to go to the gym, we're always making excuses, or there's always a reason to not go, or, you know, someone else is demanding my attention, so I'm giving them my attention instead of giving myself what I really want that's important to me. Or I really want to grow my business and achieve crystal, you know, director, but I'm talking to one person every 5 days. Right? Maybe there's a relationship where there's an issue with, you know, you just haven't had a candid conversation in a loving way and said, look, you know, I know before this was the way our relationship was, but this is not, I'm setting some boundaries now. This is not the way that I want the relationship to be. So what could you do? What have you done to attract the situation? Is that helpful? Okay. So another example, you guys, is in our thoughts. Okay, so it's like if on one hand we're saying, you know what, I'm financially challenged, you know, I'm behind, I'm in debt on my credit card, I'm wherever, and I don't understand why. But on the other hand, you always say, I can't afford it, I don't have the money. You know, you're telling the universe, I really want this debt gone and I want it clear. But on the other hand, you're saying, but I can't afford it. And so the universe is giving you more of what you can't afford, because the universe is like, what the F do you want? Because you're totally confusing me right now. Okay, so that's where we can take responsibility. We're going to learn how to switch all this, but that is an example of where we attract what we really don't want, but subconsciously we tell ourselves that's where we're going to stay stuck. All right, make sense? Okay, so we're going to move on from that. And here's what I want you to know is that when it comes to money, you know, money is a relationship, money is energy, right? When it comes to, if we make stories about it, it's because we've made the stories about it. When it comes to, you know, healthy relationships, when it comes to our health, our bodies, success in our lives, none of that likes chaos. So if there's any area that we have to, you know, tighten that crap up, we have to do that, because we're calling in even what we think we don't want by the way we think about it, speak about it, dream about it, everything else. Does that make sense? So the universe, you know, the universe will deliver exactly what we want, especially if we're thinking it, feeling it, speaking it, which I'm going to go into a little bit more here. But we have to get really clear that if there's chaos in any one area of our life, it filters into everything else. It's like David Wood said, we've heard him say it a million times, you guys, how you do anything is how you do everything. You know, I was at this Tony Robbins event yesterday with someone sitting beside me playing solitaire on their phone. I'm like, you're Tony freaking Robbins right now. Like, are you kidding me? But that when I looked at, you know, the person and the situation in their life and what they're complaining about, that was exactly, they're getting exactly what they're putting out. Right? So here's another thing I want you to look at is that, how many of you really believe that there's no shortage of abundance on the planet? Right? How many of you believe that there's no shortage of money on the planet? There's no shortage of people who are open to eating Isagenix. Right? There's 7 billion people on the planet, give or take. There's a few we haven't talked to, right? So when we talk about, and, you know, Patrick talked about fear, and I'm really glad he brought that up, because when we're looking at, you know, creating the lives that we desire, if we really want abundance, but we are acting out of fear, those two cannot exist together. If we have fear about something, we will not have abundance. The same thing is if we you know, are really focused on lack and love cannot exist in the same place as effectively. So I want you to think about, on the left side of your paper, I want you to put abundance and love. And on the right side, I want you to put lack and fear. And then ask yourself, am I saying that, you know, I'm giving love unconditionally, I'm being completely accepting of all people that I'm speaking to, yet I'm fearful that they're not going to get started? Do you understand? There's going to be a disconnect in that. Instead of that F word for fear, I want you to switch it to faith. And just have faith in knowing that what's meant to happen is already planned to happen. Just don't block it. Right? Makes sense? So abundance and love always operate. And if you think to yourself, if you're not feeling good about a situation, ask yourself, am I coming from a place of belief and abundance? Am I coming from a place of love? Because if I'm not, then I'm going to get what I don't want. Make sense, you guys? Okay. All right. So how many of you are really ready to create a life that you desire and attract everything that you're looking to, that you would like to attract, and just have it all be in sync? Would that be a cool thing? Great. And part of why I'm doing this with you guys, thank you for responding. Part of why I'm doing this with you guys is because I want you to be able to do this with your people, right? Because we have to pay it forward. With whatever we're looking to attract in our lives, the best way to attract it is to give it to other people. If we're looking to receive it, we have to give it first in order to receive it. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what you're going to do. On the left side, I would like you to think about, if you were, and you can pick whatever works for you. So if you were to think about, what do I want an annual income number to be? So maybe if it's $100,000 or 500,000 or $1 million, whatever you want that annual income number to be. If it's not even an annual income number, it could be, you know, a healthy, loving relationship with my spouse. It can be, you know, whatever your goal is. That I want a team of 5,000 people, that I would love to achieve my crystal, you know, executive by the deadline or before that. What is that one big burning desire that you have in your heart right now? And I want you to write that at the top of the page on the left side. Yeah, only 50,000 in Canada. There's lots of people left. Okay, we got that written down? All right, now what I want to ask yourself is, I want you to ask yourself, who do you have to be? Who would you be if you were attracting that? Who would you be if that was a reality for you? What are you saying? What are you thinking? Who are you spending time with? Who are you attracting? What are your relationships like? How are you connecting with people? You know, what kind of activity are you putting in? How are you in your body? How are you talking to yourself? What are you thinking? You know, what are you wearing? Where are you shopping? Where, you know, how are you booking trips with your family? Like, what are those things? Who would you be if that was a reality and you had that income coming in and you had achieved it? Who do you have to be for that? Does that make sense? Like the person that is earning, deserving, you know, receiving that, who is that person? Whatever that goal is, doesn't matter. There's no big, small, whatever. It's just whatever that goal is, that burning desire that you have. Okay, keep listing some things. And you guys can spend some time on this outside of the call, okay? All right, you can spend, I'm going to encourage you to spend some really good time on it, because once you get the floodgates open, it's like, oh my goodness. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is, on the right side, all right, I'd like you to look at the list of those few things there. On the right side, I want you to write down what has to change. What has to change right now in order for all those things on the left to be a reality? And maybe you're in the process of changing them, which is fantastic. But if not, what has to change in order for those to be reality and for that desire to become real? Get real, you guys. Get honest with yourself. So Sly, think about, whatever that goal is at the top of your page. If that has been something that you've been wanting for a while and you haven't achieved it, why not? What's held you back? What have you let yourself slip on? So for instance, we had this, we were doing this exercise and okay, I'm going to be totally real with you. So one of the things that came up for me is I get physically affected that if there's something that I feel scared about, or that a story comes back into my mind. And for me, it was a story of poverty mindset. Okay. My story was 17-year-old mom, born to a 17-year-old woman, generations of poverty. We got Christmas cheer when I was a kid. I would come home from school to get the chocolate bar money to take it to school, and my mom would have spent it on groceries. Like, that was all real. That all happened. But my story was, I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. I don't know how to handle money. I don't keep it when I get it, so I give it away. That was my story. So when we were doing this exercise and I was saying over here, I want a $300,000 a year income, I'm getting actually emotional talking about it because it's that physical for me. When I wrote that down and I wrote all the things of the person that I need to be, on the right side, I wrote what needs to change. And for me, what needed to change was my story. Because I was saying over here, this is all that I want and this is all that I'm being. And in many ways, I am being that person. On the right side, though, I still had the story in the back of my mind of that little girl, that poor little girl. And so I had to drop that story, and I left it in Vegas. I no longer have that story. So it can be something like that. It can be as simple as, I really want to get lean and fit and healthier and be an example for my teammates, but I'm still drinking 4 beers a night, or I'm still ordering pizza like once a month. Like Patrick says, I don't do pizza anymore. Like, I just got real and I don't do pizza. Like, what is it that you're slipping on? It's time to say, cut the bull crap. No more. Stop it. Does that help? Okay, we all have something, and maybe you don't. And if not, pat on the back, that you've been able to bust yourself through those. But sometimes we have, little things. I will keep it to myself that I had, I definitely had some big ones. Awesome. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Is that helpful? All right, one more thing is, what is one thing that you can do in the next 24 hours to switch one of those things on the right side? How can you take action on something on the right side in the next 24 hours, and are you committed to? Awesome. Okay, you guys, I'm going to ask you guys to open up your mics. I need a little interaction here. Let's do a couple shares. Is there anything you're taking away from this? Anything you're committed to that you're willing to share? Let's do 2 minutes of conversation, and then I'm going to go through a bit more before I ask Charlotte to step out. What's coming up for you? What have you decided is important to you? Can we do some shares?
Hi, Tinya.
Hey, Charlotte.
Sorry.
Go ahead. It's okay. Go ahead.
I think one thing that steps out for me, like, I really want to hit exec, and if I do it before next Friday, then I'll beat Alex for like youngest person to do it. And it's funny because he's trying to help me out with that. Like, it's all just kind of a joke, but I think like I get stuck on that. And I also get stuck on like wanting it for people that I care about, like, more than they want it for themselves. So a couple of my potential consultants right now are people that I care about so much. And like, I want them to be one of my consultants. So I'm not keeping my other options open. And I think when you're running for a rank advancement and you're trying to develop consultants, you can't depend on that one person that thinks they have 2 people being one of them. You have to constantly be talking to new people, reaching out to your product users, checking in and seeing if they have friends that are interested. So for me, I'm like, I'm so stuck on doing that because I desperately want it to be my sister. Like, I want those people that are my potential consultants on that side to be the ones who are. And it kind of like holds me back from like reaching out to other people because I don't want to accept that they might not be a consultant because I want it for them. So like that really helped me to, you know, think about how like that is my story. Like you changing your story. Like for me, I need to not be so stuck on like wanting it for people more than they want it for themselves, and that when the time is right, they'll want it. But I need to keep my own options open to keep my business moving because their business might not be ready to move. So that helps a lot.
Oh, good. And you know what? And I love that you're already talking about making the changes, because I'm going to go into the language piece here in a second. And because if you use that S word stuck, you're going to stay there. Yeah. Right? So be in the process of moving somewhere else. I'm in the process of figuring this out. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like PK teaches us, you know, why is it so easy that I'm attracting all these people, you know, into my team who get it? So the language is key. So I love that you said that. So that's great. Good for you. So do the tweaks on that. And it's, you know, there's a plan already in place. Mm-hmm. We just need to not block the plan by being fearful that it won't happen, right? Yeah. That's awesome. Any other shares, you guys, before we move on? No? Okay. I won't beg. Oh, is there?
Yeah, just a quick one. I really liked the idea of, and like the reality of changing your story to fit your future, because if you're not going to let that
yeah,
then how are you supposed to set up something totally new and different? So I know that'll probably speak to more than just me. So I'm really looking forward to learning how to do that.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, then let's get right into it here. So I'm going to go to, whoops. Everyone good? Okay. We create our experiences. So our thoughts, our words, and our actions reflect our awareness, you know, our consciousness. So we can change, you know, our being and our worlds and our thoughts to be in alignment. So the words I am, you've probably heard them before. You know, a lot of people will say, make an I am statement, right? And first, it is a biblical term, you know, for some people that are, you know, that focus on God and have him as part of your life, the universe, whatever. Focusing on I am. I actually have it tattooed on my arm because it reminds me to get out of my story and speak in life into what I want, life into what I desire in my life. So the words I am are very potent words. Be careful what you hitch them to. So if you say, you know, I'm not getting there, you know, I'm not super fit right now. You know what? I am fat. I am, you know, unsuccessful at network marketing. I am, you know, whatever it is, I'm, you know, I'm broke. Whatever you attach I am to, you're breathing life into it. So what do you want to breathe life into? Start switching that up. And even if it feels like you're kind of fibbing a little bit, fib. Fib a bit, or say, I am in the process of, you know, becoming more effective at connecting. I am in the process of attracting more incredible leaders into my team. You know, I am in the process of making the adjustments that are required for me to really attract, you know, what it is I want in my life or whatever. Does that help you guys? Okay, so those affirmations, starting them with I am is super powerful. Because we have, you know, when we talk about ourself, our spirit, our soul, you know, like our you know, our being, our essence of ourself, we truly know deep down inside who we are, right? But what happens is we get conditioned over time. And that conditioning over time by external environment, all these different things, pulls us away from the true essence of who we are. But when we get back to what it is, we know who we truly are and what is right for us by how things, you know, how we think about things. And if we're not always sure about how we think about things, if that's really fueling us or, you know, taking us away, go by how you feel. How many of you have had a situation where there was something happening and your guts felt wrong about it? You just felt off about it and you knew it was not right for you, right? It might have been a relationship you attracted. It might have been, you know, a situation that happened. It might have been, you know, a response you gave to someone where you maybe fibbed a little bit and you kind of were like, probably shouldn't have said that. That wasn't really true, right? We know, our guts tell us. Kids are awesome. Kids know. They know exactly who they love and like. They know exactly who they don't want to spend time with. They know exactly what they don't or don't want, right? But as we get older, we forget to listen to that gut, that internal instinct. So our thoughts are so powerful. So here's what I want you to know is that if on one hand, on your desires, you're telling yourself, this is what I want, this is who I'm becoming. And on the other hand, you're telling yourself, okay, so I'm attracting, you know, $100,000 a year income. But on the other hand, you're like, well, I can't shop there because I can't afford that. Or, you know what, I can't go to celebration because I can't afford that. The universe is going to be like, okay, it's not going to happen because you don't know what you want. And you're not being clear on the message. So we're going to keep you broke over here because this is really comfortable for you right now. Does that make sense? So this is why the thoughts, you guys, what we're thinking, we have to, how do we change them? We change them by being aware of them. You know, if you ever went to a Millionaire Mind Intensive, T. Harv Eker had us put an elastic on our wrist. And whenever we had a negative money thought, we would pull that sucker super far and snap it. If you have to do that, to have a pain response to that thought, to disconnect that thought, do what you have to do. You know, I've even smacked myself on the side of my head or gone like this because it's like, duh, what are you doing? That's not what you want. What you want is over here, right? Okay, is that helpful? Okay, so when you're thinking about, you know, what your goals are, what your desires are, pay attention to your thoughts because it takes, you know, 66 days to create a new habit. It's going to take some time to restructure those thoughts, but it's totally possible. You made up the first ones. You can make up new ones, right? Okay, and then it's our words. It's our language. So I spoke to you a little bit about that already. So here's some words that I would love you to switch. And I've talked to some of you about this before. The word try. Is it an empowering word? When you say I try, are you super serious about like, I'm not stopping, I'm doing whatever it frickin' takes to make this happen? No, it's like, so if I fail, it's okay because I only said I was going to try. You're giving yourself an out. Let's not say that T word anymore. Be like Yoda. Do it or don't do it. All right? There is no try, there's only do or something. I don't know. I'm not really a Star Wars person, but it's the only one I know. So, okay. So take that word out. Switch it. Oh, can we agree to do that? The other word is can't. So think about something that you tell yourself that you can't do. Write it down. Is there something you tell yourself you can't do? I can't go there because I can't afford it. I can't, what is it? I can't, yeah, there is no try, Bobby. That's right. Can't. Think about something that you maybe tell yourself you can't do. Maybe some of you are rock stars and you don't say that word anymore. That's good. So here's a switch you can make with that. And this is what you can ask someone. If they're saying to you, I can't do that, say you can't or you won't. If you switch it to I won't, that's a whole different thing. Right? Because then it puts you in a space of, oh yeah, watch me. Right? So try that language switch on that. Or ask yourself, what can I do? You know, instead of saying can't, say, wait a second. Okay, what can I do? Then get in action. All right? It's like when Eric Worre teaches us, you know, draw the line down the paper, put down the negative emotions, fear, frustration, you know, anger, procrastination, like whatever those things are, draw a line in the sand and get into action. So if you're saying can't to yourself on something, just ask, I'm too busy. I don't have time to reach out to people. What can you do? You have the ISA-Tools app, send someone a message. Like, what can you do, right? Yeah, there we go. I don't have time. Awesome. And then the other thing I was going to ask you to do a switch on is whenever we say I want or I'm going to or I will, a lot of times that's putting it in the future. So come back to I am, or I'm in the process of, or I desire. Because when you desire something, that means you're thinking about it, you're visualizing on it, you're bringing it about. Does that make sense? Awesome. And the other one, I'm just going to throw this in here because I didn't have it written down, but it's a biggie. Should. How many of you should on yourself? Don't should on yourself. It's not good. No more shoulding. Do it or don't do it. All right? Just decide I'm going to do it and I'm going to fall flat on my butt, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's how I'm going to move forward. We can't succeed if we don't fail, right? It's like babies. You know, baby Isaac. I'm sure Sarah and Jaden say, it's okay, Isaac. It's too hard. Don't walk. No. Go. Fall down. Go, buddy. You got this, right? Awesome. Well, he's probably not walking yet. Not yet. He will be. All right. I think that what I would like you to do is I'm going to give you an action to take away is that I would like you to, how many of you are committed to really spending some time focusing on that list of the things that you're in the process of becoming, being, doing, to have that ultimate goal? Okay, are you guys committed to that? And are you committed to taking action within the next 24 hours on something to help bring you closer to that? Okay, great. Awesome. I could keep going with this because I really get jazzed talking about this stuff, but I'm going to leave it there because I feel like I've given lots to look at, hopefully. So I'm going to move into the next portion. Do you guys have any quick takeaways or shares on that before we move on? I just want to read what's in here. It's not a priority for me. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Throw a chat in there, whatever, if you want, if there's any takeaways on it. Otherwise, I'm going to move into the next portion. So we've got Charlotte kicking back in. And Charlotte has been so gracious. She came to us with the idea of doing the 90-day action plan together as a group and giving a weekly action step and following along with the amazing tools and resources that Isagenix has so, amazingly, generously put together for us. It's a no-brainer. We've got everything provided. So Charlotte, I'm going to pass it over to you, girlfriend.
Thank you, Tinya. It's so funny that you say that too, because the past couple of weeks, I've literally just been reading what's in the lesson for the next week. And I still feel like everyone goes, oh, wow, that's so great. I'm like, it's Isagenix. They already have it. So it's so funny that it's already there for us. And it's really great when you actually take advantage of it. I wanted to share a quick takeaway. I was such a stubborn kid. And I don't know, my mom's here. Maybe she can tell me. I don't know how young I was when they put me in the Landmark Forum for kids.
Oh, yes, and the Landmark Forum.
And I remember they were talking about if you try to do something, you're not actually doing it. And so there's either trying or doing. And I was so stubborn. I was like, but if you try it and then it works, then you did it. And they were like, no, then you tried it and then you did it.
I think you were 10.
And I just remember, it's so funny because you say it now and I'm like, yeah, trying isn't actually doing. But it's so funny because back then I didn't believe that and I told them they were wrong. Meanwhile, they teach the Landmark Forum. So anyways, I'm going to jump right in here. Does anyone have some shares from last week of the 90-day action plan? So this week we're on week 2, like we're heading into week 3 starting tomorrow if you're doing it alongside us after Raw. And the past week was the action step was to reach out to 10 more people from your list of 40 that you're supposed to make a list of 20 that could really use the health solutions and 20 that could really use the freedom or the financial solutions. And then reach out to 10 of them the first week and just connect with them, start a conversation, not about Isagenix, see where it leads. The next week, this past week, was to reach out and invite someone to go for coffee or invite them to catch up, and go to the gym together or do a yoga class. So I will admit I was in Arizona. I was not going for coffee with any old friends, but I did get in touch with one of a couple of people that I reconnected with were product users of mine that have kind of dropped off. So I think that's also a good thing to do, is to reach out and connect with people and maybe ask one of your product users if they want to go to the gym or whatever it is. So I had a couple FaceTime conversations catching up with old friends, but I will admit that I was not perfect this week. And if anyone else has some shares or takeaways or anything that they want to talk about from that action step, let me know or drop it in the chat. No? Okay.
I'll do a quick share. I had sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was, I connected with a person who she's been on my list for a long time. And, I kind of was skirting around the issue with her because she's a hardcore vegan, but I also know how important, the universe is and sustainability and all this kind of stuff. So I just said to her, I'd love to learn more from you. I think that this is something that can help you, because she loves helping people transition to that lifestyle, to vegetarian or vegan. So I said, I've got something that has been a great transition for me to vegetarian, so I would love to share it with you. And so now we've had this great conversation. We're also going to do a 30-day program together to help people work towards vegan, incorporating Isagenix. So I was just so glad I reached out and spoke to her, because she was like, yeah, I'm totally open. And I was like, I made up the story that she wasn't going to be. So just talk to people.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And I think especially when you say you don't know if people are going to be open, most people are not going to say no to catching up. That's the first step. So, I mean, for you reached out and said you wanted to learn more about what she's been doing and helping people. So if you make it about them and not about yourself, then it really helps you, kind of have that in to connect with them, because you're not making it about Isagenix. It's just sort of seeing where their life is at. Honestly, people love talking about themselves. They really do. So if you're asking them about school, work, whatever it is, then they're definitely gonna have something to talk about. And it usually ends up leading to, I'm so stressed, or, I would love to travel more, but time, money, so people definitely have their things to complain about too, and that's where we come in. So it's nice to be able to make those connections. If anyone else has anything to share, Diana and I connected with product users and asked for referrals. That's awesome. And yeah, I'm continuing to improve on, asking that magic question, like, people are going to wonder what you're doing when you feel so great, you look so good. Would you want me to help coach you through getting them started, or do you want to send them to me as a referral, that kind of thing? It's so important to ask for referrals. I was just talking to Samantha Casey about that in Arizona. But okay, so I'm going to just quickly go through next week's 90-day action plan. I love how step-by-step this is, you guys. It really is so simple. And when people talk about their success with the action plan in terms of rank advancing, they don't mean that, hey, we were given this action plan at New Year's kickoff and so I rank advanced. They mean they follow the steps. And, it's so simple, but yet so many people don't do it. So if you haven't been doing it, honestly, just jump in, get in on it. It's in your back office. It's so simple. And if you're following the steps and you're really doing that action step of the week every week, your business is going to go somewhere, and if you have that intention, like this goes along with mindset too, that Tinya was just talking about. If you have that intention, those positive thoughts that you are the rank that you want to be, and that's all happening for you in your life, and you're doing this work alongside of it, then everything's going to come together. So I will jump in here. So it says, so far in this 90-day action plan, you've actively connected with at least 20 people, either online or in person. That is already 20 more people you've added to your network. I think that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Make sure you have those people on a list somewhere so you don't forget about them. It says some of these people may have shown interest in Isagenix and some may have not, and that's okay. And I think that's so important to remind ourselves that any connection that we're making is still, an amazing thing, not only just for you and catching up with someone, but for your business. Even if you don't think they asked about Isagenix, it doesn't matter. You're building a relationship. So all of those connections are great. It says keep them all on your list to follow up. This week, you're challenged to contact 10 more people on your list, and we encourage you to use the systems in place to share Isagenix. So basically, this week's 90-day action plan step is to invite people to a launch party or an online info session or something like that. And I think it's so perfect for the people that are in Toronto or near Toronto, because we have Super Saturday on Saturday. And if you didn't know that, I'll post the flyer in Start Canada. But it's going to be a really good one, you guys. Mike Dallaire is training, Carol Foulon, Carol Elizabeth, a couple other people. Scott Heron is hosting. And they're interviewing me as a rising star, and I'm getting on a plane to go to Europe for 5 weeks that day. So it's going to be a really cool, like, this is what I can do now kind of thing. So it's really going to be good. And they always have an experience Isagenix presentation in the morning for guests. And then they used to make guests become associates to stay for the training in the afternoon, but now you don't have to. So it's like $5 for guests. For the entire day, they get to stay. It's really inspiring. I had a girl that came to a Super Saturday with me once, and she's now an associate or a consultant, and she's killing it, and she came as a guest, so it wasn't too overwhelming. But anyway, so it says, reach out to your 10 people and invite them to get to know each other, catch up. So I guess that's talking about last week. And then it says invite any of the other 20 contacts. So you've reached out to 20 total now out of 40. Invite any of the other 20 to learn more about Isagenix in a one-on-one meeting, at a team member's in-home party, or through an online experience Isagenix presentation. And then it says host your own if there are no options there. So if you've never hosted a launch party, host a launch party. It's kind of last minute, but plan one for near the end of the week and just follow up with everyone and reach out to the rest of those people on your new list. My mom and I have been hosting more launch parties consistently every week, and definitely noticed both of our businesses growing. So if you're not hosting launch parties, you're missing out. I promise. It'll grow your business. So it says plug them in online presentations. And then it mentions, don't forget to share news about the Challenge Week promotion. That's because alongside of NYKO with the weeks of the 90-day action plan, the promotions kind of lined up. So we don't currently have a promotion on right now, so just ignore that. But it mentions, creating curiosity online, following up with people who have shown interest in the past when there is a promotion. So they just have some really good tips there for, to keep in mind when the next promotion comes up in terms of what to do about that, how to get that word out. So it says, I commit to reaching out to 10 people from my list and getting them connected to a tool or program that already exists. So that is the key part there, is making sure that you're not reinventing the wheel. So it talks a little bit more about social media too. It talks about creating interest, posting pictures of family and friends doing a fun activity, posting about your morning shakes, so stuff like that. There's some good social media tips here. I love the action plan trainings, you guys. They're so short. You can get this done in 15 minutes and then set a power hour to go and do that week of the action plan and be done. Like, it's so simple. So definitely take advantage of those tools because they're so available to us, and we're really, really lucky to have that. A lot of network marketing companies don't really give you anywhere to start, and we have what to do from start to finish all in this training, so it's really great. I'm just going to read some of the chat here. Hosting a launch party Wednesday, March 22nd at 7:30 in Newmarket. So if you guys know anyone in Newmarket or near Newmarket, they get to go and hear from Sarah and Jason, which is really exciting. And then Wednesday, March 29th in Barrie from Tinya. So awesome. I won't be here. Otherwise, I would try and come. But yeah, and actually in Kitchener, if you live near Kitchener, we have one. I was in Arizona when my mom planned this, but we have one on Thursday, apparently 2 days before I leave. So come to that, and message any of those people if you want details about it. But I think I'm going to wrap it up. If anyone has any questions about next week's action plan or wants to share anything about last week, then let us know. But if not, I'll throw it back over to Tinya.
Awesome. You guys give it up for Charlotte. I just think that, you know what, number one, the fact that you're just like, you know, such a superstar at your age, and you're being so focused and so committed and just, you know, no excuses, just taking action. I just am so impressed with you, and I just feel like I'm inspired by you every day. So thank you, my dear, for everything that you do for this group. Isn't that amazing? And so the main action steps, would you say, are to invite people to the events, right, this week?
Yeah, so this week's was a little confusing compared to the other ones were really straightforward. But I would say this week's step, like the main action step, is to reach out to the remaining 20 people on your list, if you've reached out to 20 out of 40 so far, and invite them all to some sort of launch party or info session, whether it's online or in person.
Okay, awesome. And I think the big thing, you guys, is that we know typically when we invite 10 people, we may have one person. So if you are going to Super Saturday, or you are having a launch party, or you're going to go to Jay and Sarah's, or you're going to invite them to a Wednesday webinar, because Isagenix is still hosting, I believe, the Wednesday night Zooms, Isagenix Canada Zoom.com, then, you know, invite 10 to hopefully get one. Like, invite a lot of people. You never know if you're just asking them to, you know, to check it out and see where they're at. That's
we'll be 100% honest with numbers. Like, this sounds kind of depressing, but I think it's important to be real. I will follow up with like 80 people for a launch party. Like, I'll go and find my list of people that have asked me about it in the past, and like I'll get like 5 out of 8. So and that's on a good day. Like, sometimes no one shows up. So I mean, like, reaching out to 20 is like a minimum if you want to have a good turnout.
Well, and you just heard from Sarah in the beginning, where it's a year later that someone is saying yes. So keep reaching out. Like, we never know. We're going to find them on the day that it's, you know, the things have shifted in their life. So yeah, it's good. All right. Go ahead.
I followed up with like 9 times, and she like didn't answer like 3 of them before the last one that she answered, and was like, okay, call me, I'm ready. And she signed up on a value pack. So you feel like you're annoying people, but they're just not ready.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Sarah.
And Susan Sly said at the last event as well, the first 75 people she talked to, she enrolled 3, one of them being her husband, okay, and he didn't even know. The other 2 were Mara and Suzanne. So even Susan Sly got 2, realistically, out of 75. So don't put yourself at this level like all 75 are totally going to come. Like, you know what the realistic numbers are, but that's a great point, Charlotte.
It is. Can I just share some quick numbers with you guys? So when I was at this event, so imagine this, okay, this is Lisa Grossman, who she opened the Most Powerful Women's event, but she came to the house and she did some stuff with us. Anyway, okay, first company in 2001. I'm just going to leave you guys with these numbers before we sign off. First company in 2001, she personally enrolled, okay, I'm going to go off the top of my head because I can't find it here. Personally enrolled 35 people her first year, okay? she had 11 that did something. So think about what Eric Worre talks about, right? So 11 that did something, 6 that were, you know, pretty invested and did more. And one of the people in her organization, 30 levels down, was responsible. Her numbers went from 35 people she personally enrolled in her first year. She ended up with 1.3 million people in her organization. Okay. 30 levels down, there was someone who was enrolled by, you know, deep down, one of her 6. The one of her 6 who sponsored this person way down there didn't speak English, spoke Chinese. She couldn't speak to her. They had to do translation and everything else. But that person that this woman brought in, 30 levels deep, had 700,000 people in his organization. So we are looking for people to get to know their people and to get to know their people. We're looking for people through people, because when people get started with Isagenix, they're not likely going to be the people that we're going to go all the way with. But when we help them get great results, and, you know, we're looking for customers, we require consumers. And when we help them, help their people, that's where it's like, when we hear people's numbers, I love hearing the numbers, because it's like, just keep talking to people. Marry the process and divorce the results. Don't focus on the results. Focus on helping people have stellar, you know, experiences, but marry the process, right? And just stay focused on the process and the systems, and keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. Love on people. Be interested. Like Charlotte said, not interesting. Get to know them. And we can only have success, right? And then again, if we tie in our thoughts and our language and visualize, picture, you know, exactly what it is that we want to have, we focus on those things that we're adjusting to become more the people that we required to be in order to achieve and receive and maintain what it is we're looking to do, then we can only have great success. Okay, we've kept you long enough. I could probably talk all night. Love you guys. I'm just going to read what Jason's putting in there. Who do you know that I should know? Yeah, exactly. Everyone, you know. And I believe I just love the way the universe works, that people show up when they're supposed to show up. It's really cool. Like all of us, right?
Sorry, Tinya, just a quick story. So
yeah.
John Maxwell, like guru of like leadership training, written like 22 plus, I don't even know how many books, tons of books. But there was a question that he always asked whenever he met someone. He was like, who do you know that I should know? And that's how he got connected with Coach John Wooden, who was like the UCLA coach that won like 10 championships, 7 in a row, like the best coach of all times, and just like an amazing human being, right? So that's how he got connected with him. But it was just asking that question, who do you know that I should know? So it's not about necessarily that person. Like they might have a connection that's so roundabout way that you can meet Kathy Coover, who would rock it for you, right? So you don't necessarily need to have that person in your organization. It might be another person that they know, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great one. All right, you guys. Well, we have kept you for the full hour. So thank you again to Patrick. You guys, let's give it up for Patrick for sharing his amazing transformation story. So we know that if we have anyone who could resonate with Patrick, you'd probably be willing to do a 3-way call with our peeps, right? And vice versa. We're here for you too. And Charlotte, thank you for doing the 90-day action plan. I think that, again, you're always
really helpful. And I think one last thing to note, everyone should be in healthy mind and body. Like to go alongside that, my sister, like who's just a product user, everyone needs to be in it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a win-win to do it. Win-win to do it. Awesome. Okay, you guys. Well, big love to you. Let's just do a quick picture. I know some people have signed off, but we're here. The important people are here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. You guys rock. Okay, big love to you. Oh, wait, Bobby's back. Hold on. Got to get Bobby on there. Open up the videos. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I love you guys. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you guys next Sunday night, all right? If not before. See you guys.